pleasure to be joined here by Martin Freeman, who plays Lester Nygaard on, thank you, good emphasis there, on Fargo here, and we're on set today. Tell us a little bit about the character that you play.
Well, Lester is a guy who, when we join him, has kind of been a victim of life, really. You know, life just happens to Lester, and he's on the receiving end of it. And he's in a loveless marriage, in a joyless job that he's not very good at. And he's about as buttoned up as you can get, Lester. He's kind of he's not a very relaxed person. And then by a twist of fate, he meets a character played by Billy Bob Thornton, who kind of opens a door in his head that says you can actually live life a different way. You don't have to be the victim all the time. You don't have to take it anymore. You can take some control of your life. And by the end of the first episode, we see the results of that, which aren't always healthy.
But an outlet, nevertheless.
It is an outlet. It's not necessarily legal, but it's an outlet.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's pent up.
He's got 40 years of pent-up rage.
All right.
Yeah.
An interesting character to dig your teeth into. What were your first impressions when you first read the script?
Well, just that I wanted to do it. You know, it was the couple of scenes with Billy Bob's character are so compelling and really, really, they just draw you in, you know, just the way that one character is just playing this other character and just completely beguiling him. The rest of the script was fantastic, but you know, given that this was the character that they were offering me, it was just too interesting not to do it. And I knew that if that was what it was going to happen by the end of the first episode, then what the hell was the end of 10 going to be like? Right. And I knew that it'd be going on a little interesting trip, Lester. Yeah. So yeah, that's what made me sign up. It's always good writing that makes me want to do a job. Yeah.
What was it like for you delving into this small community in Minnesota?
It was interesting. I mean, obviously it's foreign to me, and what was important was that I didn't come in and kind of do a second, third-hand version of what this would be via the movie from 1996. You know, so I don't just, you know, it wasn't enough just to kind of skim read it, so to speak, and just make sure you go, oh yeah, a lot. Do you know what I mean? Right. Because over 10 episodes, that's not really going to fly. You know, just people doing that, it would look like something off SNL, you know. No disrespect to the movie. The movie is great. Right. I love you, Bill and Frankie. But we don't want to do that. You know, I mean, it's not the same. It's not the same thing.
Well, it has to be truthful.
Has to be truthful. And yeah, and again, I think the movie was fucking great, and it was truthful, because I think a lot of the time, well, you can say fuck. I mean, like what?
It's the internet. We're good.
Guns are legal. Fuck isn't. What kind of world do we want to live in? Yeah, you want to make it truthful, and I think that the film was truthful, and like every stereotype is based in truth. Every single stereotype has a kernel of truth about it, and however many Minnesotans say, we don't speak like that, well, no, you kind of do speak a bit like that. You know, there is some truth in that. But I think what we wanted to do was slightly round that off and not make it so, to the ear, so extreme. You know, those very extreme vowel sounds, very elongated vowel sounds, that, of course, in the mid-90s made us all as viewers go, wow, what's that? Is that real? Are they making that up? And we see that actually, no, it is based absolutely in reality. You know, I did a lot of watching people on YouTube, like real people, real Minnesotans, and thinking, yeah, that's kind of like the movie. All the time it is like the movie.
Can you give us a flavor?
No.
One sentence? The F word?
Sentence? They would never say the F word.
They're too polite.
They're too polite. No, I mean, they don't even say the JC words. You know, they would make that, you know, I think they do say cheese and rice. You know, people do say cheese and rice, you know, because that's the polite version, you know. Yeah. I wouldn't last
polite like Canadians.
There is a similarity. There is a kind of similarity. I mean, I felt, again, being a foreigner, what do I know? But I kind of, being around the accents here, and it's not exactly the same, but there are enough similarities, I think, cultural, vowel sound wise, just a kind of attitude of life that it's not a million miles away from being in Calgary. I don't think, you know, it's a kind of politeness and a sort of solid decency to people, you know, and not swaggering, you know. It's a very unswaggery place here as well as Minnesota. So except
for during Stampede. Then we get our swag.
I guess, yeah.
Though you've been shooting in the dead of winter, and so what was that experience like, being in these frigid temperatures?
It was pretty cold. I mean, you know, as an Englishman, I'm used to being cold. I'm used to being damp and uncomfortable in weather. But yeah, this was a different ball game. You know, a couple of weekends ago when it was with the wind chill, minus 37. I've never known anything like that. I went out for a walk. I thought, let's go out for a walk for about 10 minutes. And within 2 minutes, I thought, yeah, this was maybe a bad idea. I went and bought a balaclava. I'd never bought a balaclava before in my life. You know, just to be like, because you can see how your skin starts to freeze. I'd never had that frozen nostril hair thing before.
No,
people
to protect yourself.
about it.
Yeah.
They said, "Oh, your nostril hairs." I think, do they? And you go out and think, wow, they really do. Yeah,
that is the truth.
Yourself. Yeah, you can die in this kind of weather.
You could.
It made me think. I mean, seriously. What the hell are homeless people doing in this? Like, I know there are lots of shelters in Calgary, and I know there are lots of places, thank God, but you could die in an hour, no problem. And that was pretty sobering thought, yeah.
Absolutely. Had you had any chance to participate in Canadian activities? For example, curling?
I've done curling. I was quite good at curling.
I heard you were a ringer.
I was quite good, yeah. I mean, I doubt I could keep that consistency up over, 2 days, but beginner's luck, and I've got not a bad hand-eye coordination. I'm not bad with that, and judging distances and stuff. But it's a weird. Everyone came away with a bad knee the day after.
The deep lunging.
Yeah, and also just the banging on the banging on the ice. Even though you don't think you're doing it much, you do it kind of 60 times, and you've got a big bruise on your knee. You know what I mean?
It's quite athletic.
It is, and it's very skillful.
Yes.
It's a real skill, because there were a couple of people who could really do curling, and mine was quite good, and it was, as I say, a bit of beginner's luck. But there were people who were just consistently knowing what they were doing, and I thought that takes years to get good at. So that was probably the most Canadian thing I've done.
Team building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't shot anything, so I'm not that Canadian. I haven't shot any sort of wide-eyed young creatures. Yeah.
We don't all do that. You have to go to Saskatchewan for that.
You don't. You have to look around our crew.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who like shooting, doe-eyed, sweet things. But I haven't done that. But I'll stick to curling.
All right. Maybe next season.
Maybe if I can combine maybe getting a tiny deer on the ice and just knocking it over with the whatever it's called, it would be a longer, slower death.
That may sort of apply to the character that you're playing.
By episode 8, yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Really quickly, what was it like working with Billy Bob Thornton?
In all honesty, it was great. I didn't know him at all. I'd never met him before. But that was definitely an attraction for doing the show. The couple of scenes between he and I in the first episode, just to read them, I thought, and imagining him in them, I thought, that could be really, really good. And I'm pleased to say it was fantastic. He makes life easy. He's a professional, comes along, knows his lines. He's interesting to watch. You have to react to him. He's reacting as well. He's not someone who just comes along and this is my performance and that's it. It changes. It's malleable. I loved working with him. I'd love to do more of it. Genuinely, he was a delight.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to seeing it.
Thank you.
Thank you.